Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Rocky here, along with my guy Gav as usual, and a very, very special guest, Simon. Honestly, it's a pleasure to have you on. It feels like it's been like a lifetime since we've all sat on a Zoom call or in the same room, as you call it. So yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
really happy to have you on. But yeah, how are you, man?
yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Rocky. Cheers. And finally, I'm here. We talked about it a few months ago, I think, to do this, and yeah, talk about our beloved Arsenal shirts today. And yeah, I'm looking very forward to it.
Amazing, man. So good to have you on. Gav, how you been, man?
I'm really good, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm off for Christmas now, so I'm in a good mood, man. I've been looking forward to this. I know, like you just said, been talking about it for a while. Yeah, it's going to be a special one, I reckon.
Yeah, me too, man. We've been thinking about it for a while. I know we've been a little bit late in putting this up, so apologies. I know a few people been asking me where this pod's at, but it's here. Glad you guys can see it. But yeah, we should just get right into it actually, like no holding back. So I just wanted to ask you, Simon. Of course, this is like a interview, whatever you can call it, a chat. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I just wanted to say and ask, how did you get into Arsenal and the shirts, and tell us about your love for the Arsenal and how it came about.
Yeah, of course, Rocky. Yeah, I think it's a bit unusual for me becoming an Arsenal fan because yeah, I'm not growing up in the UK. So for you guys, I think it's a bit different. Gav told it, I think, in one of the podcasts with Southampton, and his family want to push him into it. And yeah, from Germany, it was at that time, late 90s, it was very hard to follow other leagues because there was no TV broadcast. There was, of course, no social media at that time, no streams, no fast internet. So yeah, there were less possibilities to watch other clubs. And for me, the journey to Arsenal began with Dennis Bergkamp because in the 90s I was a huge fan of the Dutch national team. A bit strange for a German guy because they are competitors and they don't like each other. So my friends ask me also, how can you support them? And we don't like them. But yeah, I support them because I like their style of play, and they had some great players there with Kluivert, Overmars, Cocu, David Seedorf, and of course Dennis Bergkamp, and he was one of my favorite player at that time. And I remember when I watched World Cup '98 and his incredible goal against Argentina. I think you guys saw it many times, and yeah, I watched it live on TV as a 10-year-old guy, and yeah, it was incredible. And then after that World Cup, I thought I have to look closer where he's playing at which club and support him. And so I came to the Arsenal, and yeah, was in the beginning was very hard. It was '98 to follow the results. I only could check it after the weekend how they played, but of course, no highlights, no live coverage. The only way was Champions League when they played against a German team, for example, to watch them. But yeah, it changed a little bit later. I think the beginning of the 2000s, 2002, I think, a German sports TV channel, they decided to show the highlights of the Premier League, and it was amazing for me to get this opportunity Monday night, 11 p.m., very late for me to go to school next day. But yeah, it was from that point on I could watch the highlights of the games every week, and yeah,
Yeah, man.
until now.
That's so amazing. It's just amazing how, you know, Bergkamp and, Arsenal back in the early 2000, late 90s
No,
was so that was so loved by so many people around the
mm,
world, and it's what got so many, fans attached to
yeah,
Arsenal. As you say, the style of play, their personalities, and what they've
no,
accomplished before, and their stories. It's so interesting to see from like while they started out and their careers weren't the greatest, but then they become so good and so
yeah,
loved. You were saying, but that's amazing. It ties me into my next question now.
no.
So obviously you say you started supporting Arsenal around that time, but do you remember your first ever Arsenal shirt? And yeah, if you remember it, tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about how you got it
of
and
course.
etc.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was at that time, I think 2002, when I started to watch the highlights, and yeah, I decided with my first hard-earned money, I delivered newspapers. This was the only thing you could do as a 13-year-old guy in Germany, so no other job was possible. And I saved the money about a few months, and then I thought by myself, yeah, I wanted to represent the Arsenal in football trainings and in holidays. So yeah, um, I decided to buy the shirt, and it wasn't that easy because, like you guys, I think you could walk into the next store and buy an Arsenal shirt, but in Germany they weren't available. So there was only one big store in Berlin. I remember they had nearly from all countries all over the world the shirts, and I had to order the shirt by phone because, of course, no website, no online shop. So it was crazy times back then. But yeah, I ordered it, and unfortunately, they hadn't the original name sets there. So yeah, I ordered the plain shirt, the home shirt, called Invincible's shirt, but at that time they weren't invincible. And yeah, when I got the shirt, I was so proud to have my first shirt, and then I wanted, of course, a name set too on it. And at that time, yeah, Thierry was my favorite then, and he scored so many goals. And I thought, yeah, it would be nice to have him on the back. And I went to the next sports shop. I knew they had a heat press, and I asked them, could you print it? And yeah, they said maybe not the original, but they tried to print it as close as possible. And I trusted them, and it was so disappointing. Rocky, I told you the story. A few days later, I collected the shirt, and the name set was horrible. It was nowhere near the original name set, and it looked so strange on it. And yeah, it was my whole hard-earned money I spent on it, and yeah, I was very disappointed. But nevertheless, I wore it day in, day out in each training, and so yeah. That was my first shirt, and yeah, it's very, very special for me because of this story. And yeah, I'm very lucky to have nowadays, this year, you connected me with the one and with the original name sets, of course, and the patches. Maybe we come to this later in the pod, and yeah, so it's a happy end.
Yeah, for real. There was no RockyNico.com back then.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like, it's crazy how easy it is nowadays to just buy something off the internet, and you see the contrast. You know, there was no drops back then. It was just like you pick it up in the catalog, and you know, whatever's been sold in the past, good luck in finding it. So yeah, it's just amazing how far we've come along, and you know, the generations have passed, and you know, as you were saying, you were a bit skeptical about the name set, and now, you know, people, there's, you know, there's myself, there's, you know, Is Yours Gold, other sources where you can find people who provide that service. I'm sure Gav knows as well, you know, he's been through many people, even like Footprint, to help him out. But yeah, Gav, I'll pass it on to you. I know you've got lots to say. I won't stop you.
No, honestly, I'm happy and listening. It's definitely an experience, this pod. It's really good. I love that, Simon. That's such a good backstory, honestly. And it's like you say, even down to like when I'm obviously from Southampton, so we didn't even have like shops where you could just walk in there. Do you know what I mean? We've got like Sports Direct and all those kind of places now. Didn't have that then back in the day. So even for me, it was an absolute mission. But no, it's brilliant, man. It's such a good backstory, honestly. And even like you say, the fact a player can connect, you know, and changes everything. Because a lot of people, like obviously with Rocky, he's from North London, etc. There's people who born and raised in Holloway and all that kind of area, so of course they're going to be connected to Arsenal. For myself, it was watching, like you said, the style of play. When I was playing football as a young kid, like I just completely connected with them, and watching the '89 win the league and all that kind of stuff, I was just like, wow, that's amazing. Last minute, it just changed everything for me, and I was hooked. And it's just great to hear people's different, you know, background, their Arsenal story. And like, obviously, I know Rocky created that page a while back, probably about a year ago now. And it's great to have an almost a visual version, an actual pod about it, and just to get your experiences. So no, that was really good. Listen, I could have just honestly just sit back and listen to you guys talking. it was so good, but it's so good, man. You know, it got me hooked, man. But no, that's great. I actually wanted to ask you as well, Simon. obviously I saw the clips of you guys at the Emirates and all that stuff when you came down. So I'd love to hear. Obviously, I saw the visuals and the pics, but I'd love to hear how that even came about. How you guys went to a match together, and yeah, tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, what was a great experience. One of the highlights this season, for me, to attend the Forest game with Rocky together, meeting him the first time personal. And yeah, we talked about this a few months ago and planned this a bit. And unfortunately, it was planned for the Everton game, I think. Yeah, it was the game, and I booked the flights and so on. And then 2 days before, it was cancelled and postponed, and very disappointing for me, of course. But I thought, hey, I have to be back in London. And the last time was 4 years ago, I think, 2018. Yeah, it was the last North London derby. Amazing game.
Wow.
I was very lucky to attend this game, the 4-2 win at that time. And yeah, so I planned it with Rocky about 2 weeks ago, and he said to me, yeah, you can show me a bit around the area because he's born there. And we planned to go to Highbury because I was never at Highbury. That's one thing I regret, but never to attend the game there because I was too young. And had no opportunity to go there. But yeah, the Forest game, the whole day was absolutely amazing. 18-hour trip. Flew from Stuttgart morning, 7 a.m. and then yeah, Rocky catch me up at the tube station, and we got to the Highbury, and the scenery. It's amazing what they did out of the stadium with the apartments and this little park where the pitch was. It's crazy to walk through there. And then, of course, amazing game with the 5 goals. Nelson scored twice. And yeah, for me, the first time lower tier, it was an absolutely amazing atmosphere. The first 2 times when I was at the Emirates, I was only at the upper tier. You have maybe a better view, but it's nothing to compare with the atmosphere at the lower tier. And I'm so glad Rocky connected me with the tickets and organized this all for me. And yeah, unbelievable day. I will never forget it.
Yeah, man, it's a
That's
pleasure.
brilliant.
Honestly, there's nothing better than, block 5 is where I'm usually at, and it's just amazing. Like, we're so close to the players and the action. And I was saying to Gab yesterday, like, we're gonna do it, me and him this season too, because this season has just been so like amazing. Like, everyone's connected, even when we had our loss away and our draws, it wasn't the end of the world. And, we're just flying right now. I'm so glad that, Arsenal are back, and, you could, make the trip as well. And to see you in the flesh for the first time was amazing, because, we've had this bond over shirts for so long as well. And just finally, the Arsenal doing what it does, it brings people close together. And, it's just brilliant, man. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it's about as well, because when you can say that you can connect with an actual customer and then become a friend as well, and then become part of a community and actually meet up. How many areas of whether you want to call it retail or any sort of buying and selling, when does that happen? Do you know what I mean? Fly over and we'll go to a match together. It doesn't, and that's the beauty of what the community can do, the positive side of things. And no, it's fantastic. I was so happy for you guys when I saw the pictures. I was like, wow, jealous as well, especially with the win. But I was very, very, very happy. No, it was awesome, man. No, I'm really pleased for you. It's really good, man.
Sick.
But yeah, man.
So on to our next point or topic. Obviously, there's that massive collection there behind you.
Yeah.
Hopefully we could show everyone some clips soon and get some close-ups. But I just wanted to ask, obviously, you have how many shirts do you have in total now?
Over 50, all printed.
Wow. That 150 you said, yeah?
Yeah, 150, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible, man. Obviously, before the pod, I asked you to bring out 3 of your most favorite in your collection. So I wanted you to take the reins and show everyone what your favorites are and why they are your favorites.
Yeah, it's like I told you before. It's very hard to to pick out 3 from 150 because yeah, it's like when someone asks me which of my daughters I love more because I can't say it. I love every of my shirts,
Yeah.
but yeah, I picked out 3 shirts, and of course the first one, I think it's obvious. It's the Invincible shirt. We talked about it at the beginning. With the
Yes.
original name set, I got it from you this year.
Yes.
Original patches from 03 or 5 or 4 season. Yeah, unbelievable shirt and has a really, really special meaning for me. And I'm so glad you connected me with it after 20 years of my disappointment. So yeah, very nice shirt for me and one of my favorite shirts ever, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I remember you telling me as well before, that
Yeah,
beautiful Henri shirt, the story that you just told everyone now. And
yeah,
it was such a pleasure and an absolute honor to provide that to you. So just seeing that
yeah,
there in your hands, it's like a timepiece. It's so
yeah,
amazing. It's
yeah.
beautiful. Really
Yeah,
cool.
then another Ori shirt, also from Rocky, the long sleeve
Wow.
Champions League version from that night at Bernabeu. I think every Arsenal fan will remember. Absolutely amazing performance from Ori that time, his goal and the clip with the time wasting at the end. I think it's on Twitter every day, and yeah, I remember to watch it live on TV when I was 16, I think, at that time. So yeah, crazy game, crazy season. Unfortunately, not the win at the end against Barcelona, but yeah, very special shirt for me too because of his performance, and that's what it's about with the shirts for me to connect with some shirts with some players and special games, special matches, and yeah, it's amazing to have this opportunity today to print nearly every player on every shirt, like you said, and yeah, very cool for me.
Yeah, that right there is absolutely amazing. I think that specific shirt is everyone's holy grail. Literally,
Yeah,
it's one of the most sought after shirts ever. Everyone like every day I get, well, not every day, but every week I'd say I'd get one person saying I want
okay.
Henri Real Madrid 0506. Like I instantly know what it is, but it's just that
Yeah,
specific moment, the time wasting, the goal, the celebration when he's like
yeah,
arms out. Honestly, one of the most iconic performances from an Arsenal player or moments
yeah.
we've ever had. So yeah, that's just extraordinary, extraordinary.
Yes, and the third one I picked, it's Bukayo Saka, number 87. Yeah, it was his debut in 2019, New Year's Day, I think. Emery brought him on at the last 5 minutes against Fulham, and yeah, very special shirt for me too because look his evolution in the last 3 years. It's incredible. From this number to 77, and it's now to number 7. Absolutely amazing. And um, another thing I love on this shirt is the Evonet. I think that the player issue version of this Puma shirt because yeah, the material you can't see it unfortunately on the vid, but this material is so amazing. And yeah, I have I think 3 or 4 of these shirts in my collection, and yeah, I love it. But yeah, Bukayo, our star boy, yeah, very special for me too.
Definitely. We say it amongst ourselves all the time that Evonit era, I'd say the 2018-19, that season
Yeah,
specifically, Puma, their player issues. Obviously they're not as designed and tailored to the way the authentic shirts like behind me are made, where you can wear them casually and stuff like that. They're less baggy, your ones, but it's just amazing when you have them in hand and to know that they're designed specifically for players and
yeah,
the technology, you feel the material, you see there are different parts of the shirt that have different materials and pieces that help the players, and it's just amazing. But going into Saka, um Gav, I know you love Saka. I know you can be harsh on Saka sometimes,
No,
but yeah,
I just love winding you up. No, he's amazing. He's
yeah,
amazing. Such a good player.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It, I was going to say, obviously talking, because I was quite shocked that a Puma shirt was your third out of all of them, if you know what I mean. But so that sort of brings me on to what I know we were discussing a little bit about it before, but just the Puma shirts in general. Like, do you guys think they're sort of overlooked? Like, was there maybe more gems than we really realized that there were, you know, or were they really as terrible as people like to say? Because personally, I thought there's some good shirts in there.
I'll let Simon go first.
Yeah, yeah, I think we had some great Puma shirts. Of course, it was only 4 years, so or 5 years, I think, 5 seasons, so not that many possibilities to bring out good shirts like it's the Nike area of about 15 years or something like that. But I think for me, for example, the 15-16 away shirt, the gold one, I think, very special shirt for me too. I think it looks very nice and gold elements like in the actual away shirt. So yeah, I think we had some good Puma shirts. I know many people don't like them back then and say bad things about that. Maybe because of the first season, but I have to say, as the 15-14 season, even especially the third shirt, it's not a highlight in terms of design. But yeah, I think we had some good Puma shirts in that era too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. Often it gets like heavily criticized, like people put up pictures and you know it's sort of like some of the press shots where it's all like super tight and you know nobody apart from like athletes can imagine themselves wearing it. And it's just crazy because I look back at some of them. I haven't got any here with me right now. I'd have to like go dig them out. But like there are special ones, you know, there are different patches where you have you know, I know in your collection you've got like an Emirates Cup one, and then you look at the back of the shirt, you see the cup font, and then you see Arteta, and it's like you put so many different pieces together, like the cup fonts and the players and etc. And yeah, he's getting it out. Thank you.
You knew that was coming.
It helped. It helped so much. Yeah, there you go. And you
it's beautiful.
Look at the design and everything like that. There you go. Like, you know, it makes a shirt, and that's exactly my example about Puma sometimes being a bit overhated, I'd say, because there are some special pieces you can get from them. I love how quick you pulled that out. Too.
He's got 150. He's got 150. He can pull it out. Yeah, mate. He's got enough.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just my point of view on the Puma shirts, man.
No, definitely. I think if you want to look at the negatives for me were only really the sizing was a bit iffy. That I think a lot of people had to go a size up. I wouldn't say they were over tight, but they were just a slight different shape to them. And there was a few shockers. There was a few shockers compared to other away and third shirts in the past. But overall, and you touched on it as well, Rocky, I actually think some of the cup fonts were some of the nicest we've had. I thought there's some really nice designs in the cup fonts for the Puma stuff. And also kind of going back to what Simon said about, you know, like the whole memories kind of thing, like you can't forget the Ozil Champions League goal, all that sort of stuff. There's good memories with some of those shirts, and you hark back to them all the time and remember them. So there's some beauties. And I thought the 2015-16 home shirt with the collar and the gold, actually looking back at that now, I thought that was quite nice, you know, and like you said, the gold away shirt was lovely. I thought there's some gems in there. I think it was just such a change from Adidas and Nike to suddenly go to Puma, and it was kind of like a bit of shock to the system when the first one wasn't amazing, people sort of thrown off by it. But always look back, and when things become vintage and, you know, a bit older, then you're like, oh, actually maybe that was quite nice, you know. I mean, we only have to look at the bruised banana. How many people used to say that was terrible looking, but now it's like, oh my god, I've got to get it, it's amazing, you know. And that's just what vintage and history and memories can do to you.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well, talking about like the memories. I think during our Puma era, there was only one season where we didn't actually reach a final, and that was 2015-16, I believe, in every season. So 2014-15, there was the FA Cup, and then I think 16-17, I can't remember, but that was the FA Cup
17
as well.
FA Cup too. Yeah,
exactly. there are so many shirts where, you know, you can look back and be like, you know what, there was some good moments with these shirts and you cherish them. And, you know, there were so many unique cup fonts where I think we'll look back and be like, you know what, that's really cool. I was saying to Gav about a year ago, or he was telling me, he was like, oh man, you always do these drops, and you know, it's of, you know, the more vintage stuff like the 2000s, the earlys and the 90s, and you know, not everyone can afford them. And I was like, you know what, that's so true. I was like, you know, I need to sort of broaden my horizons and, you know, attract different people and stuff. And he was like, you know, you should look what's out there and what's sort of attainable. And he was like, the Puma shirts and, you know, the late Nike era, you know, there are so many shirts out there that people sleep on that, you know, can be bought and are relatively cheap. You know, they're not 150, they're more like 70, 80 and borderline 90. And it's just quid, that is. But it's just amazing how they've become so popular in the past year as well. You know, a lot of people ask me, can you stock this or can you get that cup font? So yeah, that I just think that era is a bit underrated, but yeah. Quite cool.
Definitely.
Definitely. I've noticed that all three of us, you can just about see it there, we've all got the away shirt from this season. I kind of feel like that's going to be a classic. I'm just going to say right now, it's probably one of my favorite Arsenal shirts of all
Absolutely.
time. I don't care. And the gold font is just everything. Oh, here he goes. He's doing it now as well. Here's one I made earlier. No, it's amazing. That's the match one, isn't it?
Yeah, this was against PSV. This one's got, it's a bit different to the install authentic. It's got like a different sort of like composition of where the badges are placed and stuff like that. I think it's quite cool.
I think you did a post on that, didn't you? I think you mentioned that, didn't you? Yeah.
It's so nice, man. The cup font is just amazing. You know, it's so in demand, and yeah, I had to like import, you know, that drop before from overseas in order to get them in. Unbelievable. What a shirt.
It just gives it's memories as well. I know it sounds silly, but the gold font, every time I see an Arsenal gold font, I'm like, oh, going back to 2005, you know, it's just amazing, you know. But I'm so happy that I managed to get myself the long sleeve for this one, because I know they went really quickly, but it's just the design as well. Just the little imprints you can see, the AFC and that. It's just, it's just amazing. I'm just grinning about it because I know in a good couple of years, another 10 years, this is going to be looked upon as a classic, I'd imagine. And that's good because the Adidas ones have been good. Definitely rate the Adidas since they've come back. But would I say any of them would be classics perhaps in 10 years? Probably not. But for me, this one's right up there.
Yeah.
Just get happy and smiley about talking about shirts. You can't not. That's so good. Especially if I had 150, I'd be very happy. Yeah, I don't think my wife would be that happy though. I wouldn't get away with it. Yeah, man.
Simon, what's your thoughts on the shirt? It's the last question, by the way, because the time is running out and it's sort of hard to merge it. But yeah, last question. What's your thoughts on this season's away shirt?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Like you said, the gold. I always loved gold and black. It's matches too good together, and the cup font is amazing. And at first, I have to say, I was a little bit skeptical when I saw the first pics, and I thought, the cup font look a bit bronze, maybe not that gold. And I wasn't sure about that, but when I saw it the first time in the flesh, my Martinelli shirt, it's absolutely amazing, and I won't miss it. And I'm glad I got two authentic versions. This one with Martinelli and the Premier League version with Odegaard, both in authentic, and unbelievable. And like I've said, I think in 10 years it will be absolutely classic.
Yeah, man. For me as well, it's definitely a classic. Like every time I see them, I'm like probably snapping them up. That's in my size. It's crazy. And Gav said it as well, the demand for the long sleeve. Oh my God, it's like, you know, they only make the long sleeves once, a bit like the authentic versions. They release once and they're out in the wild, and you can probably never source them from a official retailer again because they're just so rare and limited.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Man. I was going to say,
and what I wanted to say about, sorry.
yeah, go on.
No, go Simon. Go Simon. It's all right.
What I wanted to say, what very special at the shirt, that's the patterns are different on each shirt. I didn't know that. You told me that, Rocky, and
Yeah,
it's crazy because you can see if it's a match run from a different game, from a certain game, because you see the patterns are always different, and that's something special for me too. So every shirt is unique. You can say it like this. So
yeah, it definitely is insightful when you hear that. It's the same with the 2021 third shirt with the salmon pink. Every dye on it is different. It's meant to be sort of tie-dye, and they're all dripped differently. That's what I was told. I don't know if it's just like the rumor or whatever, but yeah, it's definitely incredible to see that.
If we've got time, I want to ask Simon, and you, Rocky, one last question, and we'll leave it on a positive. And
Yeah,
but no, we always do anyway. But
I'm just gonna say though, if the meeting cuts out, I'll invite you again and we'll restart.
it'd be quick. Simon, do you think we can win the league?
yes, yes, I think we can do it. Yeah, even with Jesus out for the next month, but we can do it. Yeah, I'm positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we never thought we'd be saying this last season, did we? So let's go with it. Well, we still can.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think we can. And I think we'll beat Man City at home too. We definitely need revenge after last season. It was just so heartbreaking. Gabriel got sent off.
Yeah.
And then Rodri with his cheesy last minute goal and celebrated in front of the fans. I think that was kind of symbolic because they were really rattled that game. I feel like they knew that something at Arsenal was brewing, and I think finally things are starting to come into fruition where we are up their backsides and we're leading the race right now. But I just hope we can keep going, man. I just hope so we can win the league. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's pretty crazy, like I said a minute ago, that we've been thinking we can potentially do it. Obviously, the striker situation is a bit of a pain, but I think January's come at the perfect time. Let's hope that we can bring in I think you say it right, Modric. I'm terrible with pronouncing names, but he looks great. I know they've had an eye on him for a while. It'd be great if we get a couple more in. I think Nketiah will be the man to lead the line. I don't think he's going to go Arteta will go a striker in, but I do get that. If Jesus is going to come back in a couple of months, then it is what it is. Unfortunately, it happens, but I'm just happy that we're anywhere near the top four. I think it's just amazing. We nearly did it last season, but for once it feels like we've turned a corner where we're learning from our mistakes, which we for so many years haven't done. And I feel like they know in January we have to do something. It's not going to be the case of all Arsenal fans will be like, oh God, what are they going to do? They know what they need to do, and we all finally, as a unit, as a community, believe in the process. Me and Rocky have always been very open about the fact for a while we weren't, and we had every right to not be sure about it. But I've got nothing for praise for Arteta and Edu and the way things are moving forward now. And it's, as an Arsenal fan, even if we did drop down to top four, so be it. This is massive progress. If we're pushing for most of the season at the top, amazing.
Absolutely.
We can't moan. So I hope the thing is with Jesus, he hasn't really been scoring, as we know. So he's kind of been neglecting his striker role as it is, but he has been so influential in all the other areas. So we've kind of been like scoring from the wings in midfield, and I believe we can still do that. Whether say Nketiah he can take the pressure, but you know what I mean. It's a big thing to be top of the league and try and be the main striker, and it's they all support him. But I think if we get enough firepower and Smith Rowe to come back as well, I don't see why not. I really don't see why not. I mean, it's I know Smith Rowe is mad, isn't it?
I keep forgetting, man. I keep forgetting about that guy.
And he is the guy as well. Like when he's on form, he's just electric, and he's going to have a point to prove. He's going to want to get into that lineup. This is the thing, we didn't have that before. The way City do, they've got whether it's Foden or it was Mahrez, or at the time would have been Sterling as well, that sort of thing, where there's so many different players that could do that position, and they're hungry and they want to start in that starting lineup. And we finally got that now. We've got wingers galore. We've got people who want to start, and even slightly in some of the defence, we've got that situation. And that's what we need, and that's what you need to be able to be a top four or to win the league. You need that depth, and we didn't have it.
Yeah.
We had depth, but it wasn't quality. That's the problem. But we do now, and it's it's true though, isn't it? We just didn't have the quality. It's looking promising, and I think whatever the outcome is, we're on the right track finally.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Simon, what's your view about the rumors about Modric, if that's how I pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could be true, and maybe I think it was the last 2 or 3 years. Edu and Arteta, they worked a lot in the background, and no one knows really what they're planning. But I think when they bring in a player in January, it will be Modric, and I think it will be a good addition on the wings. And yeah, like I've said, Smith Rowe, like a new signing this season, I think, for us. So yeah, I think we have good depth, even when Jesus is out for a few months or so. And yeah, what I wanted to say this season, what is different for me is that we win games we wouldn't won last season. For example, the Leeds game. You remember this 1-0. Maybe last year we had made a draw or lost that game. So yeah, that's different this year because we bring these wins home, and yeah, that's definitely something that changed. Yeah,
definitely. Like I look at the Southampton game where we drew 1-1. The only thing that stopped us was that pigeon, you know. That was on the pitch.
Where Ramsdale looked at it.
With Ramsdale, yeah. For those who don't know, just type it in Google after this or whatever. Put in Ramsdale Southampton pigeon, and basically he was distracted before Southampton scored by a pigeon that was on the field in his like near 6-yard box, and it was just a disaster. If that pigeon wasn't there, I'm sure we would have won the game. And the same thing with United as well. Like they were so lucky, man. If I remember when Martinelli scored that amazing goal when, you know, Odegaard picked up the ball from Eriksen in the middle and they thought it was a foul, but the finish was unreal. I feel like that match, the fate would have been different and we would have crushed them at their own ground. But, you know, VAR didn't go away there. But still, there's so much to look forward to with this team. And I'm anxious, but I'm excited for the next half of the season. And just bring on Boxing Day, man. I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Simon hit the nail on the head where he said about the games that we're winning now. I think we were always moaned at as a club for we would turn up for the big games, you know, for the United, the Chelsea, Liverpool, Cities, etc. We'd always give them a good game, but for some reason, to get out of the table, we just couldn't finish off the smaller teams. And that's no disrespect to them, but it's just the way it was, and we just couldn't get those wins. Yeah. Now, that's constantly what we're doing, whether it's a really scrappy 1-0, whether it's an absolute battering, we're picking up those points we never used to do, and we're winning dirty. Not in that way, but we're winning, you know, away from home, and it's a real hard game, but we're getting those points. And I just, yeah, it's just exactly what we've all been waiting for years, because that has been our downfall. It's just great to see, it really is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree, man. But yeah, before I round this up, I just wanted to ask you the predictions for Boxing Day. I'll start off with Simon. Do you have a score prediction for Boxing Day?
I think 3-0 for us, of course, against West Ham. Yeah.
We're gonna batter them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Gav, what do you think?
I think we'll go for a 2-1. I think we'll win either way, but I feel like we might concede a goal, but I think it'll be comfortable either way. I don't think the score will reflect the game, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. I know like a lot of the players played today in a match, like a behind closed doors against Luton. It was 0-0, but I'm seeing people freak out about.
No.
I'm seeing people freak out about it, but it was nothing. It's nothing to overlook. I'm sure on the day we'll be fine. Hopefully they don't eat and drink too much on Christmas Day, like I'm sure we will be doing, because we can enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, and yeah, thank you
And
guys
you, man.
for supporting as always as well. I appreciate you guys coming on. But yeah, man, thank you everyone as well for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the pod. We're gonna be putting up clips and everything on the Instagram as well, so you can sort of recapture the moments. But that's all for now, man. Thank you guys.
No problem, man.
Thanks, Rocky, for having us.
All good, bro.
That's right.
Cool, man. Chat to you guys in a bit,
Cool.
yeah?
Take
Yeah.
care. Bye.
Bye.